Next news, breaking news.
Ted Lieu stood in Congress and pushed a sewer rumor built around one bizarre detail. An unidentified 79-year-old man getting access to a special drug through compassionate use. That was the attack. Not policy, not inflation, not border security, personal slime. And Lieu, he pushed it while President Trump was doing the opposite of what the media ghouls wanted you to believe. Trump froze a housing signing, called the Save America Act a national emergency, then walked straight into Capitol Hill to force election integrity onto the table. So ask yourself one question. If Trump were weak, why did the smear merchants and black robe activists panic this hard, this fast, on the exact same day? See, the fight matters because it's not about one ceremony or a post or one loudmouth congressman. It's about whether citizens still run elections in their own country or whether Ted Lieu, House Democrats, legacy media hacks, and Judge Denise Casper keep a rigged pipeline alive. Trump didn't blink. He put the housing news conference and signing on ice until the desperately needed Save America Act passes. He called it what it is, a national emergency. That's leverage. That is leadership. Democrats answered with filth. House Democrats whined that Trump was throwing a fit. Ted Lieu dragged Congress through the gutter with whispers about side effects, sleepiness, arm weakness, and that grotesque 79-year-old drug rumor. Then Denise Casper, an Obama appointee in Boston, dropped a sweeping order blocking proof of citizenship and voter ID enforcement. There it is. Smear him personally, block him institutionally, protect the ballot chaos, protect the weeks-long counts, protect the blue state fraud culture that dilutes legal American voters and locks the machine in power. And when Denise Casper blocks election safeguards and Ted Lieu turns Congress into a gossip pit, I think about strategic resources and who gets ahead before the herd wakes up. That's why I looked at Noble Gold Investments. You see, silver as the next oil makes sense to me because it's a critical resource in solar panels, electric vehicles, defense systems, AI infrastructure, and massive data centers. Demand keeps growing, yet it's still affordable. So the average American can start accumulating physical silver and protect against inflation with the metal the future depends on. Go to nextnewsgold.com and see why Noble Gold is getting attention right now. If you mention me and open a new qualified account, you can receive a 1/10 ounce gold coin. Stop waiting for the regime to tell you what matters. Now here's the part that blows the whole smear apart. Ted Lieu pushed that special drug slime in public, and hours later, Trump was on Capitol Hill, greeting Senate Republicans, pushing the Save America Act, and later telling the country, we have the hottest country in the world, and we want to keep it that way. The contrast is devastating. One side traffics in whispers about a mystery patient. The other side forces a national fight over voter ID, proof of citizenship, mail ballot abuse, where the Republicans have a spine. So keep that in mind as we pull up the receipts. So Brian Krasenstein posted this, and I saw this story yesterday. There's an article that was posted about this special drug, a GLP-1, and they're trying to say that it's President Trump that is getting this special drug. So Krasenstein says rumors are circulating online that Trump may be terminally ill after a report that Eli Lilly and FDA let only one person, an unidentified 79-year-old man, access to a powerful new drug through FDA's compassionate use program. The program is reserved for people with serious and immediately life-threatening conditions. Well, I looked at the drug. It is a GLP-1. Okay, you guys have seen these GLP-1s everywhere. Trump is not in a position to be requiring compassionate use for a GLP-1. So the smear started online with anonymous chatter and the drug rumor. Now watch Ted Lieu drag it into the House podium, openly suggests President Trump is terminally ill.
Chairman Aguilar, inflation is up, grocery prices are up, utility costs are up, housing prices are up. We have a bipartisan housing bill that both the Congress and Senate passed. There was supposed to be a big signing ceremony today in the Capitol, and then all of a sudden, Donald Trump decides he's not coming to sign the bill. Well, why is that? Did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Is he unable to stay awake today? What's causing him to chicken out again? Is it Taco Wednesday? Or is it side effects from a drug? We don't know. This erratic behavior of the president is very concerning. He has trouble staying awake at multiple White House events and cabinet meetings. He has clearly some weakness in one of his arms. He's got swelling in his hands. And the White House needs to come clean. What we know is there's a report saying that one person in America got this special new drug. It was a 79-year-old person who was very high profile, and this drug can only be given to someone under the compassionate use provision, meaning you do that if someone basically has a terminal illness. So we need to know, did Donald Trump get this special drug from Eli Lilly? And did he get it under that provision? And if he did, why is that the case?
Yeah. So he didn't just question Trump's schedule. He pushed a death smear. Next, the Trump team fires back hard. Stephen Chung unloading on Lieu by name. He said, Ted Lieu is a dumbass. He probably spent hours laughing to himself, thinking that peddling this lie would be funny. Sadly for Ted, there's no special new drug to cure being a bitch. Oh, yeah. So Chung torching the lie. And here's the part that wrecks the whole stunt. President Trump shows up on Capitol Hill himself, walking in to meet Senate Republicans on the Save America Act.
Mr. President!
Like a boss.
Mr. President, do you still have confidence in Leader Thune, sir?
Are you going to sign the housing bill, sir?
Will you
Mr.
veto
President,
that?
what about this federal court ruling?
Mr. President, why are you vetoing your own legislation?
Winning by a lot. Iran is making very big concessions.
So much for the Democrats' fantasy Trump on the move, talking policy. Now he zeroes in on the radical left and says exactly what they're trying to bring to this country.
Every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists. Thank you very much.
So Trump put the ideological fight front and center. Now compare that with the House Democrats' spin, accusing him of throwing a fit over the housing bill and tying it to the Save America Act. Congress passed a bipartisan bill, this is House Democrats, to tackle the affordable housing crisis. But Trump is throwing a fit, refusing to sign it into law unless his voter suppression legislation passes. He said it himself, he doesn't care about America's financial situation. See, Democrats want you to think this is a tantrum, but next you'll see Trump's own post. He canceled the housing event until Congress moves what he calls the desperately needed Save America Act. Today's housing news conference and signing is hereby canceled until such time as we pass the desperately needed Save America Act, which I consider to be a national emergency. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So his truth post makes the message unmistakable. No business as usual until election security gets handled. Right after that, the judicial resistance kicks in with an Obama-appointed judge moving to block key voter ID provisions. Bill Maloogian, Boston-based federal judge Denise Casper, an Obama appointee, just issued a sweeping order that bans the Trump administration from implementing most of its federal voter ID executive orders, including proof of citizenship requirement. Casper concluded the Constitution does not grant the president any specific power over election. DOJ expected to appeal, and here is your Obama-appointed judge. So the bench stepping in to shield the same weak election rules the left depends on. Next, a very different claim hits the feed, one saying the Postal Service is ready to stop carrying ballots for states defying Trump's order. A huge win for election integrity, Gunter Eagleman Post. U.S. Postmaster General dropping the hammer on Congress. The Post Office will not deliver mail-in ballots for the 2026 midterms to any states that refuse to comply with President Trump's election integrity executive order. No more shady, unsecured mail-in chaos in blue states trying to rig the game. So you've seen the election integrity fight escalate from the courtroom to the mail system. Now Fox lays out the open clash between Trump and Senate Republicans over the stalled Save America Act.
John, there's a really interesting dynamic playing out right this minute that we have not seen since Donald Trump reshaped the Republican Party around his platform several years ago. He is really mad at Congress because they have not passed the Save America Act. And Congress, are really mad at him because he killed a bill signing today as a result of Congress not passing that Save America Act. So they've got a lot to talk about at a closed-door lunch in addition to the war in Iran.
The war is going very well. As you know, we're winning by a lot. Iran is making very big concessions. We'll see what happens, but it's been very, very, very powerful. It's going very, very well.
And brand new from Truth Social, part of a post about Iran peace talks says, we will be releasing some of their money that is totally controlled by us to our farmers and ranchers for the purchase of corn, wheat, soybeans, and more. Food is desperately needed in Iran, and we will be purchasing it for them exclusively from the United States. Next up here, an Oval Office meeting with the head of NATO, seen on screen there, Mark Rutte.
I think also he is right to move to this deal. And in essence, what it means is that Iran will not be able to develop this nuclear capability and therefore not be a threat to the region and the wider world.
And for those keeping score at home, Mark Rutte is the official who last summer referred to Donald Trump as Daddy. John.
Indeed, he did.
And indeed, I was in the room when he referred to him as Daddy. I was there covering the NATO events. And it was quite a moment, to say the least. But of course, NATO is spineless, and they cowered in fear when President Trump called on them, despite the fact that we are really the backbone of NATO. We will never forget. So Fox framing the tension inside the GOP, Trump makes a case in the next clip, says that these are 99% issues and spells out why voter ID, proof of citizenship, and mail-in ballot limits are non-negotiable. Here's the president just a few hours ago in the Oval.
Would you be open to a compromise measure that had provisions of the SAVE Act into a reconciliation bill?
Not really. No, the SAVE Act should be, it's not compromise. It's voter ID, it's proof of citizenship, and it's also the mail-in ballots. We want mail-in ballots for the military if they're away. We want them for people that are ill or people that are in some form handicapped or have a hard time or people even that are on vacation. I'm open to that. But mail-in ballots, you have to vote because we have a lot of rigged elections.
And would you veto the housing bill?
And then we added in men in women's sports as a no-no. No men in women's sports and no transgender mutilization of our children. These are 99% issues, and we have to do it. We have to protect. Look at what's gone on in Los Angeles and California. The vote still hasn't been counted. What's it, 2 weeks now? It still hasn't been counted. And I don't know Spencer Pratt, but I watched him, and he was doing really nicely. All of a sudden, he's out. And I said he was going to be out because he was doing well. And then a week later, they started saying, oh, he's starting to lose favor. He's starting to lose. I said, they just rigged the election. And they were going to do that with Steve Hilton. He's a good man. And I asked the U.S. attorney to go look at their votes. And as soon as I did that, they announced that Steve Hilton would be a finalist. So, we have rigged elections. Now, in my case, I made it too big to rig. Remember the expression, too big to rig? But we have rigged, and we have to have voter ID. If we don't have voter ID and proof of citizenship, but basically it's the Save America Act. Everybody wants it. Everybody is it, including Democrats. 87% of Democrats want it. Not the leaders, because they want to cheat. Their policy is so bad, they're unelectable.
That's the truth right there. President Trump drawing the line. Next, Senator Tommy Tuberville backs him up and warns Senate Republicans that if they don't act, the country keeps sliding towards the left agenda.
Yeah, that's a no-go. He's not going to take anything out of the Save America Act. What's in there needs to stay. We just talked about the avenues of the talking filibuster or voting out the regular filibuster and voting it in. Because this is, and President Trump's right here. Again, I travel the country. If we don't do something with the filibuster and we don't get things passed, it'll be the last time we'll have a Republican president or a Republican Senate or a House. That's how fast this country is going down to communism. And we need to stop it. We can stop it. It's ball's in our court. President Trump said that. Ball's in your court. I'm here to support you. Let me know if there's anything I can do. But this is what we have to do to save the United States of America from communism. He's exactly right.
So he says the ball's in the Senate's court and Trump's right to hold firm. Now we see how President Trump sums up the closed-door lunch, including his message on party unity and where the country stands now.
We had a really great meeting, and we're very proud of party. We like everybody really in the room. I don't like a few people, but that's okay. I think you know who they are. But I'll give you that information someday. But for the most part, we have a really well-unified party. And I said it very strongly. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the most powerful. We're the smartest. We're the most respected. 2 years ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. We had a terrible group of people representing us. Every leader, I just left G7, every leader, and we had a lot of people in addition to G7, as you know, came. Everyone said, what we've done in a year and a half is a miracle. We have the hottest country in the world, and we want to keep it that way. We have more factories being built right now than we have at any point at any time in the history of our country. And all of those factories are opening up soon. It's all jobs. And our job numbers are incredible anyway. I see that oil just broke the $70 number. Who would have thought that was going to happen? And that's during a war. And Iran is being very nice. They're agreeing to everything that I want. And they have to. Otherwise, we just go back and do what we have to do. Thank you very much.
So the moral verdict lands on one line, on one name, in a black robe and a name at a microphone. Ted Lieu smeared, Denise Casper sabotaged. Lieu used an unidentified 79-year-old man to turn Congress into TMZ for regime loyalists. Casper used 59 pages out of a federal courtroom in Massachusetts to shield ballot receipt games, block proof of citizenship pressure, and kneecap voter ID enforcement. That's the machine. First, they whisper that Trump is terminally ill. Then they sprint to the bench to protect the very election disorder that he's trying to crush. Trump called these 99% issues because normal Americans understand them instantly. Legal voters matter. Ballots should not drift around for weeks, and a country that cannot verify citizenship at the ballot box is a country begging to get conned. So President Trump, he drew the line exactly where he should have drawn it. Not on some ceremonial photo op, not on a fake bipartisan sugar high, on election integrity, on the Save America Act, on proof of citizenship, voter ID, sane mail ballot limits, and a country that counts votes on time instead of feeding ballots into a blue state fog machine until the approved result pops out. Ted Lieu exposed just how low Democrats will sink when they cannot beat Trump head-on. Denise Casper exposed how fast the activist bench moves when election safeguards threaten the regime's favorite racket. Republicans in the Senate now have a choice: back Trump's hard line or help the machine survive. Drop a comment with the name of the senator who needs the most pressure tonight. And share this with someone sick of California-style ballot madness, and keep your eyes on the Hill. Trump picked the right fight, and the panic proved it. But I don't want you to panic when you don't get the news, and that's why I set up this number, 844-840-4963. Thousands and thousands of patriots are already texting the words raw feed to that number. They are now on the inside track, getting the news when the notification never arrives from YouTube, or they can't find us in the feeds anymore. Yeah, I want to make sure you get the news that you depend on. And I want to make sure you're celebrating with us as well. That's why we got this America 250 gear. We made it just for you. So check out the merch shelf below this video or at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.